Canada, could it end up being the next global superpower? I'm starting to think there is a distinct possibility once it's shed its connections with the United States. Distinct possibility. Instead of Canada being reliant on trade with the United States, it appears that the United States is reliant on Canada. Now, people say to me, if we are to have a future, we have to embrace renewables, renewable energy. Yet Canada's sending all this gas, LNG, to Asia and Europe. Well, they're doing what they have to do, you see. Sometimes you have to bend the rules to survive. And that's what Canada's doing, and I understand that. I don't like it. I'll tell you, I don't like it because I'm a bit of an eco-mate, but I understand why they're doing it. But they also are looking to embrace renewables. So, yeah, it makes sense then. Not just renewables in the sense of wind turbines, even though that's a big part of it, because they've just struck a deal with Denmark, who has, massive manufacturing and industry and technology and knowledge on wind farms, especially offshore and what have you. And you look at Canada, talk about a coastline, they've got a hell of a coastline and a lot of fucking wind. Now, I'm not talking about pulses and beans and that kind of wind. No, that would be the MAGA wind. That would be. Now, I'm talking about wind. Like Donald Trump would say, they call them windmills because he's a fucking idiot. Oh my giddy aunt. They don't grind wheat. No. Or corn. No. So how is it a mill? Bloody idiot. Anyway, these wind turbines, offshore wind turbines, the horizontal wind turbines, the ones you usually see floating in the sea or anchored to the seabed. We're going to be seeing more of them in Canada, and that's a good thing. Now, they're also talking about having these little farms of wind turbines, but with offshore hydrogen production. Now, they've already started building these things in Denmark. Now, Canada could do this, and there's been talks of it. This is part of the plan, where they are going to be building these little distribution islands, where they'll be producing hydrogen, clean hydrogen, by using the wind turbines to provide the power to produce the hydrogen. It makes perfect sense, because the problem with hydrogen production is it takes a lot of energy. It takes a hell of a lot of energy. There's two ways of doing it, but it does take a hell of a lot of energy. Now, this could really open up massive opportunities for fuels for factories, energy production, like for instance generators and what have you, the data centres and stuff, who potentially could use hydrogen to power the generators, to power the data centres, And when you got like China, for instance, now putting, crikey, I just hang on the road, I don't want to drive over that. No, a fence staple. And then you've got China, anyway, they are experimenting with data centres actually on the seabed. Not sure how that works, but anyway, down below there, because obviously it'd be kept cool. But it'll take a lot less cooling. You wouldn't have rivers and stuff like that being overheated because of data centres. No, like what, where was that now? Oh, crikey, Mississippi or something like that. I might have it wrong. Mississippi? Where Elon Musk illegally built that data centre. Yeah. Where the black people are, you see. Yeah, let them suffer. That's his philosophy. Now, Denmark is a country with massive renewables, and they power their country 50% by renewables, by wind. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? The thing about wind turbines is they provide local production, so there's less grid infrastructure needed and stuff like that, you see, because the power could be used more locally. Now, here in France, they're doing something quite interesting. Since the last, was it 2 years now or 3 years, they've a law was passed where every supermarket that has over 80 car parking spaces had to cover this car parks at least 50% with solar panels, like solar panel canopies. I love that because it's great for someone to put the car. It doesn't overheat, you see. Brilliant. But also it's providing local production because this electricity goes straight into the grid, and there's a buyback tariff for which whoever owns the site, in this case probably like for instance Lidl's or Super U or what have you, they are gaining funds, monies. You know, it's a no-brainer for them. Plus, the customers love it because with all this increase in heat, you know, and it's bloody hot. I'm sweating like a good night. It makes, well, it makes perfect sense, and we love it. Yeah, we really do. So the more of that we embrace, the better. All this like about, drill, baby, drill, and what have you. That's yesteryear, you know. I got past all that. I would like to see more and more local production, whereas we ourselves are producing electricity. I produce my own electricity. We're about 70%, okay, own production, which keeps our bills way down. Now we do, let's say self-consumption. We're using that power as we go. Look, there's a big 360 Caterpillar over there. Look, but you know, it makes brilliant. It makes perfect sense. It opens up doors, this new deal between Denmark and Canada. It opens doors for other trade and other business with Europe. It softens, you see, the barriers, lowers them somewhat, makes it a lot easier for Mark Carney, the Prime Minister. Yes, he's a great guy. I've said before, you think I'm a sycophant about the guy, but he really helped us during the Brexit. He really did. It would have been worse than what it could be a lot worse. So, you got a good guy there doing his job, and he's working bloody hard. He really is. He's going around absolutely everywhere, you know, but also talking to the people as well. You know? And then you've got others like Charlie Angus doing his bit. I love Charlie Angus, I have to admit. He's so, crikey, what's the word? I know it's about grit and what have you, but there's something else about that bloke. I can't put a finger, maybe leave in the comments down below. How do you feel about Charlie Angus? If you had one word that described Charlie Angus and maybe Mark Carney, what is it? Leave it in the comments down below. I really would like to know that. How people feel about them. I know some people don't like them, and some people do. Seems like a majority that do, and quite frankly I do, you know. Now, across the world we've got energy demand increasing faster than supply. So we do need to, obviously it's a problem. Either we've got to become more energy efficient, or we've got to produce more energy. Preferably becoming energy efficient. You know, more insulation and stuff like that, but then you've got to think about pollutants. It's a really difficult balancing act, it really is. Now, this deal is absolutely going to be absolutely fantastic for, I can't find my note now. I think it was Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. Yes, it is. I remember now. So it's going to be, it'll be brilliant. It'll be brilliant. You know, they've struck a deal. It's moving forward. Everything's positive, really. There are going to be some short-term hits. There are. But at least there's answers. Do you know? When people got questions, how are we going to survive this? There are answers to those questions. There's hope. That's the difference between Mark Carney and that buffoon in the White House with his colostomy bag and giant shoulders, pads. One destroys, one builds. And which one does that? Well, it's Mark Carney. He builds. Anyway, please beat the like button and maybe subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I just could do with all the help I can get, really. I could. Because it's very hard at the moment, because those on the left we've been shadow banned by a lot of these platforms, TikTok, YouTube, etc, etc. We are being shadow banned. That's what it feels like anyway, looking at the stats. That's the only thing it can be, you know. And it's not just me, some of the big channels as well, their viewing numbers have decreased, and they can see it also in the stats that they can. Anyway, please beat the like button, maybe subscribe to the channel, little bell icon, because then you get a warm fuzz in your pocket every time I upload another video. And like I say, elbows up, thumbs up as well. And if you want to support our rewilding project, there's links down below. We're planting trees and doing animal habitats and stuff like that. Anyway, but for now, toodaloo.